art, artist, thoughts, philosophy. William with Adolphe Bouguereau was a French academic painter. In his realistic genre paintings, he used mythological themes, making modern interpretations of classical subjects, with an emphasis on the female human body. During his life, he enjoyed significant popularity in France and in the United States, was given numerous official honors, and received top prizes for his work. As the quintessential salon painter of his generation, he was reviled by the Impressionist avant-garde. By the early 20th century, Bouguereau and his art fell out of favor with public due in part to changing tastes. In the 1980s, a revival of interest in figure painting led to a rediscovery of Bouguereau and his work. He finished 822 known paintings, but the whereabouts of many are still unknown. William-Adolphe Bouguereau was born in La Rochelle, France on 30 November 1825. Into a family of wine and olive oil merchants. The son of Theodore Bouguereau and Marie Bonny, known as Adeline, William was brought up a Roman Catholic. He had an elder brother Alfred and a younger sister Mary, known as Hannah, who died when she was 7. The family moved to Saint Martin de Ré in 1832. Another sibling, Kitty, was born in 1834. At the age of 12, Bouguereau went to Mortagne-sur-Grindone to stay with his uncle Eugene, a priest, and developed a love of nature, religion, and literature. In 1839, he was sent to study of the priesthood at a Catholic college in Pons. Here he learned to draw and paint from Louis Sage, who had studied under Ingres. Bouguereau then recurrently left his studies to return to his family. Now residing in Bordeaux, there he met a local artist, Charles Marionneau, and commenced at the Municipal School of Drawing and Painting in November 1841. Bouguereau also worked as a shop assistant, hand-coloring lithographs and making small paintings that were reproduced using chromolithography. He was soon the best pupil in his class and decided to become an artist in Paris. To fund the move, he sold portraits 33 oils in 3 months. All were unsigned and only one has been traced. In 1845, he returned to Mortage to spend more time with his uncle. He arrived in Paris in March 1846, aged 20. Bouguereau became a student at the École des Beaux-Arts. To supplement his formal training in drawing, he attended anatomical dissections and studied historical costumes and archaeology. He was admitted to the studio of François Edouard Picot, where he studied painting in the academic style. Dante and Virgil in Hell was an early example of his neoclassical works. Academic paintings placed the highest status on historical and mythological subjects, and Bouguereau determined to win the Prix de Rome, which would grant him a 3-year residence at the Villa Medici in Rome, Italy, where he had lessons. Taking formal lessons, he could study first-hand Renaissance artists and their masterpieces, as well as Greek, Etruscan and Roman antiques. Villa Medici, Rome, 1851 to 1854. The young artist entered the Prix de Rome, contained in April 1848. Soon after work began, there were riots in Paris, and Bouguereau enrolled in the National Guard. After an unsuccessful attempt to win the prize, he entered again in 1849. Following 106 days of competitions, he again failed to win. His third attempt commenced successful in April 1850 with Dante and Virgil. But 5 months later, He heard he had won the joint prize of Shepherd Finds Zebonia on the banks of the Axis. Along with other category winners, he set off for Rome in December and finally arrived at the Villa Medici in January 1851. Bouguereau explored the city, making sketches and watercolors as he went. He also studied classical literature, which influenced his subject choice for the rest of his career. He worked to Naples and on the Capri, Amalfi, and Pompeii, still based in Rome and working hard on coursework. There were more exploration of Italy in 1858 too. Although he had a strong admiration for all traditional art, he particularly revered Greek sculpture, Leonardo da Vinci, Raphael, Michelangelo, Titian, Rubens, and Delacroix. In April 1854, he left for Rome and in return to La Rochelle. Height of career. Bouguereau's painting, the traditional academic style, exhibited the annual exhibition of Paris Salon for his entire working life. An early reviewer stated, M. Bouguereau was a natural instinct and knowledge of contour. The arrhythmia of the human body perceptions him, and in recalling his happy result which in his genre, the ancient and the artist of the 16th century arrived at, one can only congratulate Mr. Bouguereau in attempting to follow in his footsteps. Raphael was inspired by the ancient, and no one accused him of the being original. Raphael was a favorite of Bouguereau's, and he took his review as a high compliment. He had fulfilled one of his requirements of the Prix de Rome by completing an old master copy of Raphael's The Triumph of Gladia. In many of his works, he followed the same classical approach to composition, forms, and subject matters. Bouguereau's graceful portraits of women were considered very charming, partly because he could beautify a sitter while also retaining her likeness. Although Bouguereau spent most of his life in Paris, returned to a leisure goings again and again throughout his professional life, he was revered in the town of his birth and undertook decorating commissions from local citizens. From the early 1870s, he and his family spent every summer in La Rochelle. In 1882, decided that rather than rent, he would purchase a house as well as a local farm buildings. By August of the year, the family's permanent summer base was on the Rue Vendredi. The artist commenced several paintings here and completed them in the Paris studio. Bouguereau flourished after his Villa Medici residence in 1854 to 55. He decorated a pavilion and a grand house of occasions in Angoulême, including 4 large paintings of figures depicting the seasons. He was happy to undertake other commissions to pay off the debts and he accrued in Italy and to help his penniless mother. He decorated a mansion with 9 large paintings of allegorical figures. In 1856, the Ministry of State for Fine Arts commissioned him to paint Emperor Napoleon III, visiting the victims of the Tarasian flood. During the period, he also created decorations of the chapel at Saint Clotilde. He received the Legion of Honor on 12 July 1859. By this time, Bouguereau was turning away from history painting and lengthy commissions to work on more personal paintings with realistic and ritualistic theme. By late 1850s, he had made strong connections with art dealers, particularly Paul Durand-Ruel, who helped clients by paintings from artists who exhibit the salons. Thanks to Durand-Ruel, Bouguereau met Hugh Murray, who later often was compared to Bouguereau. The salons annually drew over 3 lakhs pupils, providing valuable experts to exhibit artists. Bouguereau's fame extended to England by the 1860s. 3 paintings were shown at the 1863 Salon, and Holy Family was sold to Napoleon III, who presented it to his wife with Empress Eugenie, who hung it in the Tudor apartment. From the 1860s, Bouguereau was closely associated with the Académie Julian, where he gave lessons and advice to art students, male and female, from around the world. During several decades, he taught drawing and painting to hundreds if not thousands of students. Many of them managed to establish artistic careers in their own countries, sometimes following his academic style and in other cases rebelling against it. Like Henry Matisse, he married his famous pupil, Elizabeth Jane Gardner, after the death of his first wife. Bouguereau received many honors from the Academy. He became a life member in 1876, received the Grand Medal of Honor in 1885, was appointed Commander of the Legion of Honor in 1885, and was made Grand Officer of the Legion of Honor in 1905. He began to teach drawing at the Académie Julian in 1875. The Academy was a co-ed art institution independent of the École des Beaux-Arts with no entrance exam and nominal fee. With Bouguereau's arrival in Paris in March 1846, he resided at the Hotel Corneille at 5 Rue Corneille in 1855. After his stay in Rome, he lived at 27 Rue de Fleurus and the following year rented a fourth floor studio at the 3 Rue Carnot near his apartment in 1886. At the year of his marriage to Nelly, he bought a vast plot of land on the Rue Notre Dame des Champs, and an architect was commissioned to design a grand house with a top floor studio. The family was installed in 1868 together with 5 servants and his mother, Adeline. Visiting daily, Bouguereau spent the rest of his life there and alive Rachel. Bouguereau was an assiduous painter, often completing 20 or more easel paintings in a single year. Even during the twilight years of his life, he would rise at dawn to work on his painting 6 days a week and would continue paintings until nightfall. Throughout the courses of his lifetime, he is known to have painted at least 822 paintings. Many of these paintings have been lost. Near the end of his life, he described his love of his art. Each day I go to my studio full of joy. In the evening, when obliged to stop because of darkness, I can scarcely wait for the next morning to come. If I cannot give myself to my dear painting, I am miserable. In the spring of 1905, Bouguereau's house and studio in Paris were burned. On 19 August 1905 and 79, aged 79, Bouguereau died in a La Rochelle from heart diseases. There was an outpouring of grief in the town of his birth. After a mass at the cathedral, his body was placed on a train to Paris for a second ceremony. Bouguereau was laid to rest with Nelly and his children at the family vault at Montoria Cemetery.